Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present Dr. Edward de Bono. Edward de Bono is regarded by many to be the leading world authority in the field of creative thinking and the direct teaching of thinking as a skill. He has written 80 books with translations into 47 languages and has been invited to lecture in more than 50 countries across the world. He is the originator of lateral thinking, which treats creativity as the behavior of information in a self-organizing information system, such as the neural networks in the brain. From such a consideration arise the deliberate and formal tools of lateral thinking and parallel thinking. Born in Malta in 1933, he attended St. Edward's College, Malta, during World War II, and then the University of Malta, where he qualified in medicine. He proceeded as a Rhodes Scholar to Christ Church, Oxford, where he gained an honours degree in psychology and physiology, and then a DPhil in medicine. He also holds a PhD from Cambridge and an MD from the University of Malta. He has held appointments at the universities of Oxford, London, Cambridge, and Harvard. Dr. Edward de Bono is one of the very few people in history who can be said to have had a major impact on the way we think. In many ways, he could be said to be the best-known thinker internationally. There are many examples of how his work has been used across the world. In the University of Buenos Aires, 5 faculties use his books as required reading. Just one example of how his work transcends subject boundaries. In Venezuela, by law, all school children must spend an hour a week on his programs. In Singapore, 102 secondary schools use his work. In Malaysia, the senior science schools have been using his work for more than 20 years. In the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the Republic of Ireland, and the UK, there are thousands of schools using Dr. de Bono's programs for the teaching of thinking. Dr. de Bono has also worked with many of the major commercial corporations in the world, such as IBM, DuPont, Prudential, AT&T, British Airways, NTT Japan, Ericsson in Sweden, Total France, etc., etc. The list goes on. The largest corporation in Europe, Siemens, is teaching his work across the whole corporation, following his talk to their senior management team. And when Microsoft held their first ever marketing meeting, they invited Edward de Bono to give their first keynote address. Edward de Bono's special contribution has been to take the mystical subject of creativity and to put the subject on a solid basis. His key book, The Mechanism of Mind, was published in 1969. In it, he showed how the nerve networks in the brain formed asymmetric patterns as the basis of perception. Since then, he has continued to develop his work and gained numerous accolades. For example, in 1996, the European Creativity Association surveyed their members across Europe to ask who had most influenced them. Dr. de Bono's name came so far ahead that they requested the official naming committee of the International Astronomical Union in Massachusetts to name a planet after him. So planet DE73 became E. de Bono. In 1988, he was awarded the first Capiri Prize in Madrid for a significant contribution to humankind. In 1995, the Maltese government awarded Edward de Bono the Order of Merit. This is the highest award available and is limited to only 20 living persons. In recent times, the MMU Institute of Education has benefited from Edward de Bono's passion for education and for the place of creative and constructive thinking within it. To this end, the United Kingdom De Bono Foundation, in partnership with the Institute of Education, has established the unique UK Centre for Serious Creativity and Constructive Thinking within this faculty. This is the only such centre within a university, and we were absolutely delighted that Edward de Bono travelled to MMU to open the centre earlier this academic year. The centre will provide courses, training and development opportunities for our students, staff, schools, colleges, youth centres, and any other workplaces with whom we operate. It will truly be a unique opportunity to further the remarkable legacy of Edward de Bono. Vice-Chancellor, I present Edward de Bono for the award of Doctor of Education honoris causa.
When you graduate, you move from a world of knowledge into a world of doing, and up till then your life has been full of knowing, building a wonderful roadmap with all the side streets and everything, and then you've got to learn how to drive a car, and you've got to learn where you want to go and how you get there. In other words, operational thinking, operacy. In education, literacy, numeracy is enough, but as soon as you graduate, or leave school if you're not going to graduate, then operacy becomes important. And operacy is deciding what you want to do and how to do it. It's rather like in our educational culture, analysis is very important. You analyze a situation to break it down into its components, and then you recognize a standard component, provide a standard answer. But design is equally important. Design is putting together what you have in order to deliver the values that you want. And this requires a very different sort of thinking from analysis. So, on graduating, you move from a world of knowing to a world of doing. You need all the knowledge you've got, because without a roadmap you're not going to get anywhere. But you also need to develop the skills of doing, the thinking needed for doing. So I wish you luck in that.
Well, on behalf of the university, I thank Dr. Edward de Bono for accepting our award and for giving our graduates wise advice and guidance.